I am Nicola.
Hugh.
That is you. Okay, great start. We're going to answer some questions. So on Twitter and Instagram, I asked if you guys had any questions. It's been a while since we've done something like this, so I thought we would do this. You gonna sneeze? Oh, why did it's like as you become like a dad and sneezes just get louder? Why is it such a dad sneeze?
I don't know.
So Taylor Jane asks, how did you decide where to settle down and what are the reasons you decided to live in Korea and not Australia? Hope you're having a good day. Thank you.
So far so good.
What?
Have a great day.
Oh, okay.
So
I thought you were answering the question of like that was the why we living in Korea instead of Australia. So to begin with, the reason why we moved to Korea was I wanted to live in Korea. I wanted to have experience living in your culture because I thought this is going to be better for understanding us and for our relationship, because you had lived in Australia for like 6 or 7 years. You've been back and forth a lot. You were very comfortable in Australian culture, but I felt I needed to have that experience in your culture for our relationship, and that ended up being a really great thing. Why are we still living in Korea?
We like it. Actually, yeah, I mean, like in the beginning I didn't want to come back to Korea at that time. I had a job and I didn't finish my university in Korea, but I went to the college in Australia. So when I was coming back, what should I do when I come back? It's really hard to get a job. It's not from really big university and I didn't have really good skills or something. So I hesitated. And also I got PR in Australia.
Permanent residence.
Yeah, so I mean I've been working so hard to get the PR, so I didn't.
And we're like, let's move to Korea.
And
yeah,
later things what we are doing was quite interesting.
Yeah,
you know, doing webtoon and YouTube stuff. So yeah, maybe give a shot. And then really appreciate to Nicola, because Nicola was saying, I've been living in Australia for a long time and I didn't spend my time with my family as well, so we went to the countryside.
We lived with your family for 2 years.
Yeah, and then that's crazy, like...
People can't believe I did that, but for me,
yeah.
It was just a normal thing for me to do.
But it was okay for her, but it was really terrible. It was really terrible for me to living in countryside. Because I've been living in countryside most of my life.
You hate living in the countryside.
I'm dying. Like it's like I'm going to the mountain by myself and then
be a hermit
training. Yeah, like become a monk or something. That kind of thing.
Well, I'm like me in the countryside. I was just like la la la, ride my bike, work, paint, do all this type of stuff. But for you, you had to help your parents on the farm.
I get the energy from other people, and then in our hometown, there's all older people. Like, I'm not saying older people as 50 or 60. I'm talking about
90.
70, 80 something. Yeah, okay. So, I wasn't really inspired.
In the countryside.
Yeah.
But we moved to Seoul. We've been in Seoul for 3 years and busy life, right?
So, yeah, that time I wanted to go back to Australia. But since I moved to Seoul after 1 year, no, actually, I love it.
As soon as you moved here. And you did go to Seoul a lot. When we lived in the countryside, we spent a lot of time in Seoul anyway.
Actually, I came to Seoul like...
almost every weekend.
Almost every weekend. Because I had to inspire by people and motivate by people. Yeah, it helps a lot. So, and I end up decided to come to Seoul, and then it was a really amazing and good decision that I had. Also,
I think for our work, our focus is on, you know, cultural differences, being intercultural, but with the focus more on Korea and Korean culture, that's harder for us to do in Australia. I think if it was more from your perspective and you were talking to a Korean audience about Australian culture, then it would make sense to be in Australia. But our audience is international and they're more interested in Korean stuff than they are Australian stuff, usually. So that's another reason why we're here.
And I want to prove that Korea is a good country to live. And, you know, I'm not really super patriotic, but I do I'm proud of being a Korean.
Often Koreans who haven't even traveled and that will be like, why are you in Korea? Aren't all other countries like so much better? And it's like every country has good and bad things, and Korea has a lot of great things.
Yeah, so I want to prove that Korea is a good country to live.
And that we have chosen to be in Korea.
Yeah, and I'm sure so many things Korea is better than so many other countries.
Internet. Okay, next question. This is a big question that I don't think we can answer all of it. So this person says they're going to Seoul for 2 weeks for Christmas and New Year's. What do I wear? You need a very big padded coat. So we'll start with that.
Yeah.
And I'm meeting my potential mother-in-law. Oh, she's going with her Korean boyfriend. And his friends are then too. Any culture meeting for the first time tips. I'm also staying with his family, so what differences are there between Australia and Korea that could be good knowing, like taking shoes off at the door? So this is an Australian girl, has a Korean boyfriend, obviously thinks very serious if she's meeting and staying with his parents.
Yes.
So it's you know, it's not just casual dating, this is a big step to take. What would be your first advice to her?
Smile.
Just be nice in general.
Yeah, of course, be general, nice, and smile.
And also, if you don't have this Korean skills yet, or you can get your boyfriend to say, just give an apology right away. Just say, I'm sorry that I might offend in some way culturally. Like, just right away have that said. Either you say it or your boyfriend says it. So it emphasizes you're from a different culture, but you're trying your best. And most Korean families would really appreciate that. And they will do their best. Like, most Korean families are so welcoming, and if they know that you're trying your best in Korean culture, they really, really appreciate that. So they will hopefully be understanding as well.
And also, if you appreciate things, and you know, like just basic thing that if they give you really nice meal and you say thank you, but you're staying with their parents, right?
Yeah.
Even though you are not going to wash dishes or something, but you just
offer,
show, you know, oh, do you
They're
want
not going to let you do it, but
they
just
are not
offer.
Or if they ask you to do it, I mean, if you do it, so what? You know, show something that, you know, appreciating about these things, you know, then they will think, oh,
just trying really hard. Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I think that smooths over a lot of things.
You know, but like just sitting there and then, you know, not saying thank you and just...
Have at least the basics in Korean of saying thank you. That will go a long way as well.
And if you don't know, just ask your boyfriend first. And if this is okay.
Also, maybe have a discussion with him about he has to be a mediator between two cultures. So there might be some things where maybe you accidentally offend or something. You're not going to be able to fix that situation because you might not even know how you're offended. Not saying that's going to happen, but sometimes that can happen. It's his job to be a bridge between two cultures. So have a chat with him to make sure that he understands that. One of the worst things that a husband can do is not help smooth things over between his wife and mother. So you don't want to have that situation like later. So you want to try to make sure that he knows that it's up to him to be a mediator and to help the relationship be good as well. Also, like I said, you will need a big puffy coat at that time. It's going to be very cold. It's probably going to be below 0. Maybe wear 2 pairs of leggings, or you need some the heat tech, the long underwear stuff. So gloves, hat. Depending where you live in Australia, you'll probably never experienced that type of cold before. Another thing is you're probably going to experience some things culturally that are going to seem very wrong to you or very different. For example, you know how like you feed somebody like is showing kindness to them, especially like when you do barbecue, when you do the wraps and then you feed somebody, which I don't like people doing that to me, but then I understand that it's a I'm doing something nice for you thing. So there's going to be things that's just going to seem strange to you, but just be understanding and be like, doesn't mean it's wrong, it's just different.
Next question.
Okay. So Stephanie, who I interact with a lot on Twitter, so shout out to Stephanie. Do you have any plans to do any traveling this year aside from Australia and Seoul? Are we going to go to the Philippines sometime? That's kind of a plan.
I mean, I got a free...
You got it. You want a free ticket to the Philippines, but I didn't get that.
Yes.
And I might visit my brother in Japan sometime as well. But as a family, we are not sure. Maybe we'll do a family visit to the Philippines. Maybe.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Not sure. Not only overseas, like we never been to Jeju Island.
True.
So we might have a chance to go to Jeju Island.
We might. That would be really good.
Yeah.
That's still in Korea, but it's different. It's like, you know, different place.
So maybe Jeju Island.
Still in Korea. Okay, Chloe on Twitter asked, do you know if it's possible to find any vegetarian food in Korea if you eat out? Definitely.
Yes.
I mean, you will find vegan and vegetarian restaurants around, like often smaller restaurants, but you can also order things like bibimbap without the meat. It's just going to be rice and vegetables. You have to be careful of some things, like some broths will have had like seafood or pork in them, so some soups might not be okay for you to eat, but you might just need to do a bit of research of what Korean foods are vegetarian or can be vegetarian.
Yeah.
If you can speak enough Korean or you have somebody with you, you might be able to adjust things a little bit. Like for example, having bibimbap without sometimes like a little bit of beef in it. But you can also, there's also vegetable bibimbaps you can order as well.
Yeah.
There's lots of side dishes as well. So even if you were somewhere where other people are, you know, maybe eating meat and that type of stuff, if there's enough side dishes and you have rice, then you're going to be able to eat the rice and eat the side dishes. Definitely look up what vegan and vegetarian restaurants.
Tofu.
Alright, yeah. You know, there's lots of tofu.
Lots of tofu.
Unfortunately, sometimes it's in a broth made from pork or
Is
seafood.
tofu English or Japanese?
I mean, tofu is what we use in English.
Okay.
Like, we don't have another word in English for it.
Okay.
So if it's a loan word, it's not our fault if it's a Japanese origin. I actually don't know the origin of tofu. Please let me know if you know in the comment section. It's like when Koreans get upset that karaoke, we use the word karaoke in English, and we're like, because it's a Japanese word,
It's
right?
노래방.
And I'm like, it's Japan got the word to English first. They invented karaoke. We can't blame the English speakers for using a
But
Japanese
you guys
word.
can use music room.
No, because they're not even rooms, right? Karaoke in Western countries is often in a restaurant in front of people.
No.
Completely different.
We say 노래방.
Okay. Well, that can be your, you know, one-man mission of making the English-speaking world say 노래방 instead of karaoke.
No, but Japan invented this one, right?
Yes.
So I can't say
No,
this word.
it's always so stupid
Yes.
about this argument. Okay, this one from Living Loon asks, does Yul speak more Korean or English? People ask this a lot, actually.
I think they speak more Korean.
Korean. I think the actual words that he, you know, he can't even really say sentences yet. He says random words.
Appa!
Yeah, he says that a lot. I think they lean more towards Korean because he's repeating the words he hears at daycare and that, but he understands Korean and English quite equally. I do have a funny story. When my parents were here, so he was hearing a lot of English all the time, and Australian English, and in Australia rain boots are called gum boots, and we were going to the river and he didn't have shoes on. We were trying to get shoes on, and like he had his gum boots in the stroller, and I was trying to put his sandals on him, and he was really frustrated and didn't want the sandals on. He's like, no, 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 no. And then finally it comes out of him and he says, gum boots, because he wanted to wear the gum boots. And so we put the gum boots on him, but we were just like, did you just say gum boots? And he says a lot of words but then won't repeat them again. Like he'll say it the one time that he needs it and then doesn't repeat it. So he does say some English ones, but I think general I think he can say bang, like for bread, mul for water, 엄마, 아빠. But the cute thing he does do in English, he says, oh no. And so when he watches these dinosaur things and the dinosaurs are fighting, and or even when it's a picture in a book and they're fighting, he looks at it and he goes, oh no, oh no.
But the most of things he's saying is da 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 da,
Yeah.
da 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 da.
Yeah, but the sentence structure does seem to be more Korean, which makes sense because the other kids that he's seeing are Korean. So sometime later we'll do another question and answer video, but that was nice to just answer some of your questions. Also because we're probably not going to be doing live streams very often because there's this weird thing on YouTube where you do a live stream and it completely screws your channel, like your sub count just I don't know, we don't even know what it is, but like it really stagnates your channel as soon as you do a live stream, and like so many YouTubers had this problem. So we prefer to do these type of videos where we can answer your questions this way and probably do a better job because I can edit it, whereas live stream sometimes you zone out and it's just like blah 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 blah.
Things you wanna hear or want us to talk about, just leave a comment.
We'd love to talk more about relationship stuff. We've been very open about our relationship and ups and downs. So definitely some more relationship questions we would like to talk about.
Yeah, we're thinking about the other one, that your situation, and we talk about in the video about it.
Yeah.
What our thought is about your
we'd love to be able to give some advice like that, because especially for intercultural relationships, that can be quite difficult. It can be difficult to find the right information about that. So let us know if you have a question like that. Subscribe if you haven't already. You can check out some comics on the blog and our social media, and we will see you later. Bye bye.
Because we need to go to a daycare.
We're going to pick up you. And I want to eat ice cream. Let's eat ice cream together as a family. Okay.
Bye.